Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another year of Georgia State Athletics and a new season of Primetime Sportz. I'm your host, Nithin Nair. With it being the start of the fall semester, it's only right that we start with GSU football. The team is looking to capitalize off their most successful year to date. Not only that, there's a battle going on for the top position on this team. Rashad Milligan brings us more.
Many will argue that the quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. Leadership on and off the field from the position is essential to any successful team. As for Georgia State, the Panthers' leadership is in transition. Record-breaking quarterback Nick Arbuckle will be replaced by either Connor Manning or Aaron Winchester. Winchester and Manning both realize the power of the position.
You know, it's the quarterback's job to make sure everyone's doing the right thing, line them where they're supposed to be and all that. So it's an extremely big role.
You know, you lead the offense. You know, you're the extended coach on the field. So I think, you know, as a leadership standpoint, you're looked to as a guy. And you have to be the guy on and off the field. And, you know, that's what, you know, our QB room as a whole stresses. Our QB coach, Coach Schiele, stresses being a leader at all times.
In his role of leader, Winchester took his linemen out to eat last weekend.
So I thought it was very important, you know, to, you know, show them my appreciation, you know, for them as much as I possibly can, you know, and I felt like, you know, taking them out to eat was the least I can do for them as much as they do for me. So
Manning attended an Easter service with members of the Panther family. He said gaining respect was his main goal this offseason.
I wanted to come in here being respectful, you know my part where I was a new guy and I had to earn everyone's respect and trust. And I felt like throughout my time being here, you know, I've done that and it feels really good.
For an offense with weapons at every skill position, the new quarterback should be the key to another bowl game this season. From the GSU practice facility, I'm Rashad Milligan for Primetime Sportz.
I'm now joined by Caleb Johnson, who is here to talk about the quarterback battle and other headlines involving the team. Caleb, thanks for joining me.
Hey, it's great to be here, man. It's great to talk about football again.
Yeah, I know you've been to a couple practices. You've been to the spring game as well, so you have an overall idea of where this team is headed and stuff like that. So let's start off with, what do you think are the steps the team is taking, you know, Coach Miles and everybody, to achieve the same success that they had last year?
Well, steps as far as practice has been, you know, they take things very seriously. Coach Miles is making sure that, you know, from the starters down to, you know, the walk-ons, that practice is very serious, that we're doing everything that we can to continue success for the guys. And when I say walk-ons, you know, I recall seeing a walk-on quarterback that was having a hard time with drills getting to receivers, and I mean, you know, coaches were getting on him because they were like, you know, this has to be tight, and he's not even starting the game tonight. So it's interesting to see how Coach Miles has made sure, you know, even with the music that pumps through all the practices, you know, like every other campus in college football, but to see the seriousness that Coach Miles is making sure his coaches and his players take to get ready for the season.
Okay. So, you know, Nick Arbuckle has left the team. A couple other people have left, notable. So there's a lot of new roles that need to be filled on this Georgia State football team. So I know you know it. So what are some of the roles that you think that need to be filled on this Georgia State football team?
Well, at wide receiver, that's one position where, you know, there's going to be some major change. You'll notice Donovan Harden is graduated. He's moved on, you know, doing great things out in the professional atmosphere. And that means Penny Hart goes from being a freshman to being a leader on this team, which also includes Robert Davis as a receiver. And not that he's not a leader on this team. You know, he just seems more of a less outspoken guy than Penny is. You know, Penny's just a real fireball. You know, I mean, he's shorter in stature, but a great receiver, great asset to have at Georgia State. Another position that's going to be a little interesting to see is going to be the running back. Now, the running back with injuries is going to look similar to last year when it was running back by committee. So there's going to be guys like Kyler Neal, Glenn Smith. Glenn Smith looked really good this offseason, so he's a guy to definitely look out for. Then there's going to be Kendrick Dorn, and then the list kind of continues as there's like 6 running backs on this roster who all should see some sort of playing time this season at some point, unless someone really pushes themselves as, you know, the serious starter that Coach Miles likes. Another position to focus on is the tight end.
Right, okay.
Keith Rucker is back. And with Keith Rucker being back, that is good for Georgia State football. Having Keith Rucker out there, we know he's going to ball out. But another guy that he had his fair share of success in the bowl game last year was Ari Wirtz. He's going to be looking to ball out this season. The man talks so much positivity on Twitter. I know he's going to have great things this season. And a tight end that we didn't realize last season, and even really most of this offseason was going to be a tight end, is Amir Shafe.
Yeah,
or Scaife, excuse me. Amir was looking to battle for the starting quarterback position just this, looking to go this offseason.
Right.
But didn't happen. He just didn't set himself apart from Aaron and from Connor. And then a graduate transfer comes in, kind of, mixes everything up. And so now he's moved over to tight end. I saw him in practice. He has some progress to go, but he has some athletic ability that I think will help him as he's playing the tight end position. And then defense, it's going to be interesting to see. I think defense will be strong this year, which was, the back end of last year's season was when defense really made their presence known. It's when we started winning football games, and I think that will continue this season with the leadership of Bobby Baker and so many other guys on that defense.
You brought up the word battle, and so when I think of that, I'm thinking about the Rashad's package previewed it, and it's a question that a lot of Georgia State fans want to know. Who do you think wins this quarterback battle between Connor Manning and Aaron Winchester?
All right, well, I'm going to go out on a limb here since we don't know yet who has been named the quarterback. But when it came to Georgia, University of Georgia football, I was correct. I picked Grayson Lambert out there for the Bulldogs.
Right.
So for Georgia State, everything points to Connor Manning.
Why do you say that?
I think just because the way Connor has directed himself outside of the huddle, I'm talking on the sideline, he was working with Amir, making sure Amir was running the right routes, was doing the right thing with the fakes and everything that they're trying to play with their playbook. So Connor was really taking that leadership role. Not to say that Aaron isn't taking a leadership role with the team, but it just seems like Connor's been pushed more that direction, and he's really held on to it. He was working with the first teams in practice. So, I mean, that alone kind of makes you wonder.
Right.
And then I think because they did so much to get Connor into Georgia State football, I think they're just going to give him a shot, knowing that Aaron is the future of the quarterback position at Georgia State. I think, as in with University of Georgia, I think, a guy who is the future to hold a clipboard for a little while just to kind of get used to things and then move him into that position, because obviously we don't know how Connor is going to perform. So if he comes out against Ball State and he doesn't ball out, I mean, we've got Aaron. Right. So, but I think for this first game against Ball State, I think Connor Manning's our quarterback.
Okay, good prediction. So successful year last year. How do you think Georgia State football will finish off the year this year, prediction-wise?
This is something that I've gone back and forth on just myself, and then talking to other guys who work with us at Primetime Sportz. One of the guys, our producer, Deacon David Schiele. I've listened to some of the things that David said about how he thinks Georgia State will perform. And so my prediction is 6-6.
Okay, even 500.
I think we return right back to where we were last season. And I think the best upside that we have is 7-5, but I really think 6-6. Just kind of some things that I saw in the schedules. I just see wins like Troy is in the schedule. That was a game where we played really well last year, and I mean they're a talented football team. No doubt, but I think that's going to be a notable win that some might not pick as a win for our season. I think we'll beat Troy. Homecoming, we're going to be playing UT Martin, right. And just FCS school. I just don't think they're going to hang with us. I think that'll be a good win for us. And also UL Monroe. We beat them last year, and so I think that's another team that we'll be able to beat this year. Now, for the losses, we've got to go into Air Force.
Yeah.
Going
Very
into
hyped
Air
up game.
Force.
Very
Yeah.
hyped up game on
And I mean,
nationwide and on Twitter.
yeah,
We've seen
I
it.
mean, not just the uniforms. The uniforms look great,
Yeah.
but the team looks great too, and I think that would be a tough loss for us. Amongst those, we're getting big bucks to go play Wisconsin.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
you know, we'll keep a good fight, but it's
Yeah.
just it's not. It's just
Gotta
you know
be positive, but
yeah,
realistic as well. That
it's
is
just
true.
not a winnable game
That
for us.
is
So
true.
Wisconsin's going to be a loss, and then the one that this might hurt some people, and it does for me to say it. I just don't think this year we'll be able to pull out against Georgia Southern. Just going to Georgia Southern to embarrass them at their own home like we did 34-7. I think with them coming to the Dome, I think they're going to be ready for revenge, and I think they're going to get their revenge, and it might not look good for Georgia State. You know, I mean, they're a talented football team. So those are the key wins and losses that I see out of this year. 6-6 is what I predict. I do predict a bowl game though, getting that 6-6 record.
Okay, you gave us a season preview of like what you think, who we're going to beat and who we're going to lose against. But who wins tonight against Ball State?
So I didn't include this in the notable wins because I thought we were going here, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Ball State, Georgia State.
Ball State takes this win.
No.
Oh, Georgia State wins.
Yeah,
Okay.
Georgia State is going to win this game. Sorry, I kind of threw you there.
Yeah.
No, Georgia State is definitely going to win this team. We beat them last year. I think the score was 31-19, and I think we'll get a similar score.
Okay.
They've got a brand new coach, and so I just feel like when you put a brand new coach in, you know, you aren't looking for the best outcome. You know, you're just kind of gauging how to get the coach used to the program and the players.
Right.
And I just don't think they have a shot at beating Georgia State.
Well, Caleb, thank you for joining me and giving us some insight on what's happening for Georgia State football this year. Well, it is to note that two key players for Georgia State will not be suiting up tonight against Ball State. Reporter Joey Redman has more details.
As the Panthers enter into today's game, they will be a little short-handed as both running back Taz Bateman and linebacker Trey Payne have been suspended as of August 28th for an indefinite amount of time for something that is being noted as conduct detrimental to the team. We reached out to multiple sources inside the Georgia State Athletic Department for comment on why they were suspended at all and why the suspension was listed as indefinite, but no one was able to provide any further detail at this time. It should be noted that back in 2014, Trey Payne was suspended for the first 4 games of his first go-around here at Georgia State for another similar violation of conduct detrimental to the team. Back on August 8th, Taz Bateman was already listed out for the season with an ACL injury. As things unfold, we will be sure to keep you informed, but for now, back to you, Nithin.
Thank you, Joey. The Georgia State volleyball team completed its season opening tournament, going 2-1 in the JMU Invitational. The ladies return to action today in the Bruiser Showcase with matches at 11 a.m. against William & Mary and 4:30 p.m. against Mercer. Transitioning on, the men's soccer team record currently sits at 1-1 after losing the season opener against Mercer, but bouncing back with a 4-1 win against Memphis with the help of Hannes Burmeister's hat trick. The team returns to action today at 7:30 p.m. as they host Lipscomb at the GSU Soccer Complex. The women's soccer team started their season with 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws. The ladies will continue action today at 5 p.m. as they face Alabama A&M. Today continues to be a busy day for GSU athletics as the cross-country team also opens up their season at the JSU Struts Invitational. The team has 7 returning members along with 1 new member. Thanks for tuning in today. Remember to get all the latest Georgia State sports news by subscribing to our YouTube channel at GSU Primetime Sportz. Follow us on Twitter at Prime Sports with a Z, and make sure to like our Facebook page. I'm Nithin Nair, and I'll see you next Friday.